Hello and welcome, brothers and sisters. You know my name, it's Doodle, and quite recently I got the T49. And the T49 is a very special vehicle. You see, it's considered to be one of the most fun vehicles in the entire game. Now, I am going to say I have played a few battles on the vehicle already, and I see why people call it one of the most fun vehicles in the entire game. First of all, it's a light tank. So, naturally, it's mobile. It has pretty good camo values and decent view range, right? So you can get some nice early shots and you're pretty stealthy. Second of all, and the main reason that this vehicle is so fun is its gun. You see, this is no ordinary gun. This is a 152mm gun launcher. And it has 560 alpha, yes. Now, that alone is already pretty good. But there is something else. It also has 10 degrees of gun depression. And if that wouldn't be enough, it has 81 high explosive penetration, which is really good for a tier 8 especially. Now, there are some downsides, and one of them is obviously the accuracy. Even with the vehicle being maxed out, its aiming time is 5.8 seconds and its dispersion is sitting at 385. That is pretty bad. Its reload time is really long, and its standard penetration is also really bad. Now, one thing that's not so obvious that I actually noticed is that it actually has pretty bad traverse speed. When you're trying to turn rapidly, it doesn't really work. It's pretty bad in that regard, but besides that, it's, the T49, it isn't a really bad vehicle. I would say it's a decent vehicle, nothing too crazy, but definitely nothing like horrible. Alright, so my P44 is telling us to go to the heavy side, so I was already looking at the matchup and I was like, heck no, I am not fighting a Chimera and a Defender Mark 1. That is not a winnable matchup. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to spot enemies trying to cross, and as the beautiful World of Tanks Blitz map design goes, punish them for trying to make it to their designed position. There we go, 578 into the enemy M6A to E1 experience, and I think that's the only shot I'm gonna get early game. So, although there's a missing tank heavy, the enemy liver is nowhere to be seen, and I'm just gonna assume that he went to the medium side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bail out of this bush and I'm gonna try to maybe get some sneaky hits. Now, this is actually a really bad scenario for me to be in. You see, as I mentioned earlier, the penetration on this vehicle is really bad on its base. But it seems like the M6A to E1 is just going to let us... Oh wow. The liver is spawn camping, it seems, or I don't know, he connected late. But, being faced off against heavies front line is really not good for this vehicle. Wait, no shot, bro. No shot, I can pen that. Dang, I missed. That was really bad on my part. That was a really bad shot on my part, I have to say. There is the enemy Mark 1. I am not going to get shot by the enemy Defender Mark 1. I'm not going to face up against the liver because I'm not going to get any damage anyway. I'm going to try to get a shell into the enemy mediums. Let's see. I cannot penetrate the Chimera, which sucks. Maybe I can penetrate the Chimera. I can absolutely penetrate the Chimera and max roll him for 700 damage. Wow. Yeah, you can see where this vehicle is really good. Now, I don't know where the enemy ISO is. There's the enemy ISO. Ooh. Ooh. Dang. Almost, dude. Almost. Alright, well now I'm left alone, essentially, against the two mediums, which is pretty bad, I have to say. Yeah, my entire my entire team is bailing, which is obviously not ideal. But I do have a Desante who is pushing up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push up as well, because it seems like the enemy mediums have bailed. Never mind, they're still here. And I can get a juicy shot into the enemy defender. The Desante is going to block me, but that's fine. I still have 800 HP left, and it's essentially over by now. Let's see, maybe I can get one more shell. Come on, defender. Let's go. 568 into the side of the defender, and that's all the shots I get. 3000 damage. That was a pretty good battle, I have to say. Yeah, but the enemy team was just really bad. I don't know what the mediums were waiting for. I don't know why they didn't push. I don't know why they didn't support their heavies. Their heavies just fell really quickly. The Luve was AFK. I mean, you can see the enemy team did pretty poorly this game. But anyway, let's head into our next battle at Black Goldville against a T92E1, which is pretty interesting. The older brother of the T49. Besides that, we have a Chimera once again, which is not ideal, because as you could see from the previous game, I can't really penetrate the Chimera, and it seems like my AC is bailing or not. I don't know what this guy is doing. I have support from our tank destroyer, which is really nice, obviously. I don't know why is this guy trying to side scrape. Maybe he's just lagging. Let's hopefully that, if so, that his lag... Okay, never mind, he is just spawn camping. That's awesome. Alright, let's see what we can do here. No enemy spotted so far. I don't really want to push up, because if I push up I die. That's all that there is. I'm gonna let the WZ go wide. Maybe he can get some spots, but it doesn't seem like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow this little road here, and I am going to try to see where the enemy team is. I am not yet spotted, which is very strange. I'm gonna stay here a little bit. The WZ hasn't spotted anyone either. There's no way the entire enemy medium flank is AFK, dude. Like, that's just incredible. There's the enemy tank destroyer. Where is the Chimera? Oh, wow. Incredible. Nice gameplay. Beautiful. Just spawn camping, bro. And the Chimera is no different. I cannot hit that. There is no shot. I will need insane luck to hit that. Besides, I have to worry about this guy. Maybe we can bail. Oh, he fired. He fired. That seems to be it for him. If I get support from my tank destroyer, he's gonna hit me. He's totally gonna. Wow. Wow. I just. Okay. And then I used. Okay. Okay. Well. This did not go as planned at all. Wow, incredible. And he hits me back for 500. That's amazing. He's now going to try and ram me and finish me off, and he fails at that, thankfully. Wow, just wow. Just wow. What is this RNG, dude? That's incredible. I bounce the guy. Dude, that's just like... Wow, well, this was a really weird and a really bad match. No, I could have just fired standard ammunition. I should have seen the fact that this gun is so inaccurate it's going to not hit the high explosive. But it's wow. This guy just got nuked like crazy. Dude got all of his health drained in like 2 seconds. That's insane. Alright. Well, you can see here where the T49 does pretty good and where the T49 does pretty bad. You know, I probably could have played better, but regardless, I couldn't possibly get a lot of damage that game. I should have maybe played more aggressively, but this was just a really weird game. I don't know what the enemy team was doing. Anyway, here we are on Middleburg, my least favorite map, probably one of them. And we have an LTTB and an RU251 against us. Our defender is bailing right off the bat, that's great. At least we got a Lenson C. Never mind, the defender is not bailing. I don't know what this guy is up to. But what we are going to try and do is get a juicy high explosive into one of the enemy light tanks. So we're gonna play fairly aggressive. My team is firing blind shots. I don't know what the LTTB is doing. Buddy. Okay, so the enemy LTTB just killed himself. I mean, I'm not complaining. Let's see, there's this little glitch that I'm wondering if I could perform. It doesn't seem like it. No, my gun mountlet is too short. That sucks. Maybe? No. The MXM4 is pushing. We get a nice shot into him. Tell me, was that worth it? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to heal my crew member. Was that really worth it, dude? Like, he seriously just pushed on me. Traded with me, like, alright, bro. We cannot get a shell into the lance. Wow. Incredible penetration. But we do get a high explosive pen, doing over 700 damage. Which is really crazy. Let's see. I shouldn't have activated my adrenaline, but I did. So now I'm gonna have to deal with it. And that was absolutely not worth it. I have no idea why I told that. I guess I wanted to get some use out of my adrenaline, but I should have just accepted that it's wasted. The Lanson C almost kills himself, so I'm gonna use that and go around the enemy T34 and AT15, and I'm gonna get a crew into the T15. The T34 just fired, and yeah, he's dead. He is just dead. There we go. That's GG. 1600 damage, not that very good, but no, it's listen, it's better than nothing, alright? It's better than nothing. We did fine. It's a win, right? A win is a win. But anyway, let's continue with our fourth and final game of today with the T49. I have to say, the experience is really enjoyable. You will be surprised at how many high explosive penetrations you can get in this vehicle, really. I mean, I was at least. Like, that Lanson C-Pen, that was crazy. I mean, I also got pretty lucky that my shell actually went where I wanted it to. But the fact that I can pen that just alone is pretty crazy. Now we are at, I don't know what this map is called, but we have two T49s, which is insane. Yeah, I switched to English recently. I'm European and I used to have the game in my home language, so I don't quite have the names of the maps. I don't remember the names of the maps yet. Okay, I don't know what my team is doing. What is my team doing? The T49 gets a juicy shell into the rain, which is obviously not ideal for us, but I am going to try and punish it for playing aggressive. Try to, that's the key word. There is the enemy eyesight, and wow, unlucky. Maybe not unlucky, but I should have just fired standard, but yeah, the T49's game is over. Incredible. The AMX managed to pen me. Not pen, but hit me. in general. Our heavies are for some reason flanking. I am somehow spotted. And I am going to try and get a shot onto the AC type get, but I probably won't be able to considering how crazy this thing's armor is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flank, simply enough. I see that my heavies have not spotted anyone on the heavy flank, so I am just going to flank. We have the enemy T-54 who is AFK, so I'm not gonna bother with him. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get to the back of the... or not. Never mind. I guess the T-54 is not AFK. Wow. He is just... he just has a very interesting game strategy of sitting around and doing nothing until the entire game is over already. And yeah, that's not very ideal for me, I have to say. Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know he was aiming at me. But now I am down to a one shot. Now if my Predator could just push up the T-54, that would be awesome. And he does. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our revenge. And try to maybe get a shot into the... no, not because my T-49 is already doing that. Wow, our Predator is screaming for help. We get a shot into the T-54, which is all I wanted, so I'm not complaining. 1300 damage so far, and I don't think I'm going to get all that much more. I'm going to try to, but doesn't seem like it. Yeah, the enemy team is just gone at this point. Maybe we can get a shot to the T-95, but I don't think so. We're spotted. And dang, I should have waited. Maybe we can get a shot though. Imagine if I can pen the back. Imagine. Dude, that's insane. Nice! We get a clean shot into the T-95 for 602. Which is really nice, I have to say. And that is yet another victory. So yeah. That was the T-49. It's a really fun vehicle. You can really pen a lot of stuff with a high explosive. And yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's fun. Once again, it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing bad. You just have to be very careful with playing with it. You can see there, I over-aggressed. I thought the T-54 was AFK and I lost all of my health, right? And then I poked again, thinking the T-54 wasn't looking at me, and I was down to one shot. So you can really see how weak the armor on this vehicle is and how little HP it has. It actually has what 1200, 1300 HP, which is really not that much. Yeah, 1250 with improved assembly. But yeah, that was the T-49. It was pretty fun, I have to say, once again. I'm really repeating myself now. Do I recommend this vehicle? I have to say, yeah, I really do. If you just want to have some fun and you're decent at the game, then yeah, this is definitely a very fun vehicle. Although to perform really well, you have to be good at the game. It's not the easiest of vehicles to play, but it's fun. That's what matters after all. It's all just a game, and games are here for us to have fun in. So, with all that being said, that's all for today.